Single player microtransactions. Seriously, single player microtransactions. Why? Hey guys, your favorite cute little green furball here. So, this was supposed to be animated, but due to those last year's Windows Creators Update fucking up Adobe Flash, which is what I've used to animate the animation that you saw at the beginning of this video, that plan had to be scrapped. In fact, I could barely even use Flash anymore. It was a ton of nightmare just to animate that 12-second animation alone, due to Flash running at a snail's pace as I did that animation. Until I can find a better animation tool out there, that will have to suffice for now. So just enjoy this footage of Warframe as I talk in the background. So anyway, I've been wanting to do this video for a very long time, since December last year in fact. Wish I could make this video much sooner, but my everyday life got in the way. So yeah, well, better late than never I suppose. Now, this script has gone multiple rewrites. I was unhappy with the original script, so I decided to rewrite the script all over again from scratch and re-record my voice all over again. Oh boy. Plus, due to changing times and my procrastination got the better of me, many of the stuff I recorded back then are no longer valid. For example, I was going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront II's controversial loot box practice, but then our favorite villainous overlord EA decided that loot boxes are strictly cosmetic now, and you now earn experience points from just playing the game alone. Ouch! That goes to show that you should never mess with players, especially when boycott is such a powerful weapon we have in order to force a developer into changing their minds for the better. Though, personally, these changes already came in too little too late. Battlefront II already became a joke, one of the most blatant examples ever of bad business practice, and something that other game developers should take note of when it comes to how not to implement microtransactions in your game. I was also planning on talking in detail about Middle-earth Shadow of War. And yes indeed, why? Why the hell would you need microtransactions, as in paying real money, in a single player game? That just doesn't make sense. If Tolkien is alive today, I don't think that he'd be too happy to hear that a game based on his Lord of the Rings world would become such a money-eating monster, preying upon gamers' gullibility and their desire to get the best items ever. In addition, Shadow of War's microtransaction system is even worse. You cannot buy specific items you want. You can only buy item chests, randomized boxes which may or may not have the items that you want. That's right, loot boxes. So, loot boxes. Why is this bad? Well, loot boxes prey upon gamers' addiction for getting cool stuff. You're shelling out money, real money, for a chance of getting the stuff that you want. Or to be precise, a chance of not getting the stuff that you want. It's predatory. Gamers become broke because they kept shelling out money on loot boxes solely to get that one item that they want. And along the way, they had to deal with tons of stuff that they don't want, which they cannot refund back. This sort of business practice is extremely common in mobile games. Most mobile games go for the free-to-play route because it's more profitable for such devices. These games will be seemingly merciful at first during the game's first 2-3 levels. But as you progress through the game, the grind suddenly becomes too much, and the learning curve suddenly escalates into a ridiculously tall brick wall to climb over. The game would then taunt you repeatedly that you then have two choices. Either you get good, son, which can be a daunting task and may be impossible for some people, or you give up, open your wallet, and spend money in order to buy better gear, or unlock the later levels much earlier than the more normal method of unlocking them. What I've just described is also what detractors of this practice would call pay to win. See, this is why pay to win is such a dirty word. The game is essentially forcing you to buy better gear with real money just to even be able to progress through the game. In the best case scenario, you can instead get that item for free by paying it via the game's in-game currency instead. But as you can imagine, that can take a very long time to do. These games would reward you with very little in-game cash no matter how awesome you are at that game. In the end, you could spend weeks, maybe even months, of playing that game before you could finally have enough in-game cash to buy that item. Worse still, some of the items listed can only be bought via real money. So regardless, you're still goaded by the game into opening your wallet just to be able to get those items. Now, we're seeing this bad business practice made the jump from the mobile gaming market where it should have stayed there to the PC gaming scene. And from there, it only got even worse. So that aforementioned Shadow of War, that game itself is not for free. In the US, it costs $59.99. And now it's asking for more money? It makes no sense. It's probably just me, but personally, a game that already has an entry fee just to even be able to play these games in the first place should not have microtransactions in them. It's something that I believe should be limited to free-to-play games only. Anyway, my point here is that loot boxes, when you need to trade in real money to get them, are bad. Very bad. Essentially, loot boxes are a form of gambling. For a while, the law hadn't caught up to these shady business practices yet. By the definition of the law, gambling is when you put your money in the line, with the very real danger of not getting back that money you've bet. So legally, loot boxes aren't gambling because money is not the reward. I disagree. And I know that most of us also disagree. It's still gambling because you are betting for a randomized chance that you might not get the item that you wanted. But anyway, things have changed. This shady business practice has finally gotten the attention of news outlets. And now, even the law starts to consider taking action against this practice. I mean, recently, Hawaii proposed bills in order to prohibit sales of games to gamers under 21 years old that contain randomized in-game rewards that are acquired via real money. Even if you need to exchange real money with in-game premium currency first, and then use that premium currency to buy loot boxes. These bills also require game publishers to put labels onto their games, warning gamers that their games contain said in-game loot boxes. Meanwhile, Apple implemented changes to its iOS App Store, which requires everyone who includes monetized loot boxes in their game to reveal the odds of which items are contained within said loot boxes. It's a positive step towards the better, but only time can tell how long will this loot box madness will continue. Oh well, I don't want this video to drag on for too long, so I think I'll just end it right here. Like or dislike and have a nice day. I'll see you again next time.